mics kind of go back and forth. But, this election process, there's been a lot of petitions thrown around. I know for the tax reform proposal, there were like a dozen almost. Do you think the petition process is being misused, and do you think it should be changed at all?
Well, there's no question that it's being misused, and you know, citizens of Missouri reserved in the Constitution their right to have an initiative petition, and it is citizens' right to rebel against their government. But if you look at the petitions that have been run in Missouri, it's all been outside money. I can only think of maybe two that and I didn't research it, but only two that I can think of. One was Hancock, that probably came from the citizens of Missouri. But if you look at the Prop B, the Puppy Mill bill, or the term limits, unionization of home health care workers, the energy, all this stuff is coming from outside the state of Missouri and outside money. The problem is, how do you tighten that up without creating a bigger burden on those folks that actually live here in Missouri and have a legitimate beef? And it's tough to do, and I think it's something that we've looked at it every year I've been in the Senate. We haven't come up with a magic answer yet, but I do think that we need to do some things. I think there's one bill that was moved, and it was supported by Farm Bureau and the Chamber. I've kind of lost track of it. I don't know whether it's been through the Senate or not, Mr. Parsons' bill. But anyway, there's where there would be a hearing after it was filed, so there could be some at least let people know what's in it. But I think what you have to have is a Secretary of State that will write clear and fair ballot language and allow the voters to make the decision.
Let's go to the same question about is it being misused?
The initiative petition process is the people's final check on an out of control or an unresponsive government. And so it serves a huge important role in the way our founding fathers wanted us to be able to control as another check and balance. So it is huge. It is something that is so important. Now, what it comes down to is that our democracy, our republic, we're always under attack by outside interest groups, by people that want to influence elections. You look at George Soros and how much he plays into Secretary of State's races and things of that nature. So what it comes down to is that I have belief and trust in the people. And if you have clear ballot language and people to walk in and they know that if I vote this way, this is what it does, I'm always going to default to the people because I think they are smart, they love this country, and they're going to do a great job of pointing us in the right direction. And that is where the fair ballot language comes in. When you come in, you don't understand if I vote yes, does it really mean no, or does this really do what it says it's going to do? I mean, there's been initiative petitions where people, if they walked out and voted, like, oh, really? That's what I just voted on, when they find out what it really does. So again, you got to go back into believing in the people, but if you give them the basic information on this is what it does, they're going to make the right decision. And I think that's just what we have to do, is have fair ballot language, not someone that's pushing an agenda either from an out-of-state interest group or from anywhere.
Should the process be changed at all? Do you think it's being misused?
I think that it's probably inappropriate to say whether the process is misused by a particular entity. However, there can be more transparency, because I think it's important that the people know that who is behind it, what the purpose is they're behind the initiative for. And I think it's important that you do have language people can easily understand. That's why I moved forward the plan called the Fair Ballot Commission, because I think it's important that any Secretary of State be willing to let themselves be held accountable. Citizen initiative process starts by the people exactly as it should. The voters get to vote on it as a citizen initiative exactly as they should. But once it goes to Secretary of State, other than Secretary of State being elected by the people don't really have the proper say in how that ballot language is written. So I'm saying let's put together a group of people that would be volunteer for Republicans, for Democrats, and they would be able to look at that language, say, is it confusing, is it misleading, are there any issues, and let the people be involved actually in how the language is written. And if they believe it is, then they have an opportunity to be able to rewrite the language so that there are no politics played. Because when you look at the different issues that have been on the ballot, it's unfortunate that people walk away and not sure if their vote was a yes or if their vote was a no. And not only that, when you have politically charged terms, like the use of puppy mill. For example, we have a number of legitimate dog breeders where I'm from who take care of their animals exactly as they should. They would never condone animal cruelty to any type of animal, And so when you use that title puppy mill, it absolutely influences a voter, that understanding that they're making a decision that affects every single dog breeder. And if you're in animal agriculture, that was an attack on you as a farmer in animal agriculture. And so we need to make sure that politics are left at the door, that you have someone who's going to make sure that they are watching out for how that bad language is written. Because regardless of who Secretary of State is, we should always be willing to be held accountable. And that's one good way that I know we can be held more accountable than what the current Secretary of State is.
Shane Short will